Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stands more isolated than ever. His global allies are slowly turning their back on him. So are those at home. Just have a look at what really is going on. The United Nations Security Council has passed a resolution. It has called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. All while the US, Israel's biggest supporter in this war, stood aside and watched. Yes, the US abstained from voting. This fell short of Israel's expectations. You see, Netanyahu wanted Biden to veto the resolution, but that clearly did not happen. There were bound to be some repercussions. And it did not take too long. Soon after the resolution was passed, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called off a delegation visit to the United States. Two of his top advisors were scheduled to visit America. They were supposed to discuss the Rafah offensive, which, remember, Israel has been threatening for a while. But now the talks have been stalled, and the fate of Rafah hangs in the balance. Netanyahu has further accused the US of abandoning its policy in the UN. And the US has reacted by saying that it is perplexed by the Israeli decision. The entire fiasco has exposed the growing rift between the two sides. You see, this is the strongest public clash between Netanyahu and Biden, and it's not going to do well for Israel, which is nearing total isolation on the world stage. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken warned of the same a few days ago, in fact. Listen into this.
As we've said, though, a major military ground operation in Rafah is not the way to do it. It risks killing more civilians. It risks wreaking greater havoc with the provision of humanitarian assistance. It risks further isolating Israel around the world and jeopardizing its long-term security and standing.
But the Israeli Prime Minister does not agree. Here's what he has to say.
I met today with Secretary of State Blinken. I told him that I greatly appreciate the fact that for more than 5 months, we are standing together in the war against Hamas. But I also said that we have no way to defeat Hamas without entering Rafah and eliminating the rest of the battalions there. And I told him that I hope we will do it with the support of the United States. But if we have to, we will do it alone.
As you can see, the allies have been openly contradicting each other. And they have been doing so for a while now, by the way. Netanyahu went so far as to say the IDF will enter Rafah even if it does not have America's blessings. Just where is Netanyahu even getting this confidence from? Whose support does Israel have if the US pulls out? France too, also, in fact, has been hardening its stance on Israel. During a phone call on Sunday, the French President Emmanuel Macron warned Netanyahu against displacing Gazans from Rafah. He said this would be a war crime. And now the Royal Air Force has also begun to intervene. It is airdropping aid into Gaza. This is a first ever since the war broke out. And in another first, it had voted yes in the UNSC vote, while it had abstained from voting in the earlier 3 ceasefire resolutions. What does this mean? That Netanyahu is being abandoned by everyone, is it? Not only abroad, but at home as well, in fact. Polls have been showing that if an election is held now, Netanyahu would be soundly defeated. Usually his lawmakers do his bidding and defend his actions, but now it seems even his coalition is shaky. Veteran Israeli Minister Gideon Sa'ar has announced his departure. This comes after his demands to be appointed to the high-level war cabinet were not met. And this is what he had to say.
I can't carry the responsibility if I do not have, in my judgment, a real possibility to influence the direction of policy. I simply do not see any benefit in this. Therefore, with a heavy heart, I announced a while ago my intention to resign from the government and signed a letter of resignation to the Prime Minister, according to Section 22 of law related to the foundation of government.
And with that, Netanyahu's coalition has shrunk from 76 to 72 seats in the 120-member parliament. While there is no immediate threat to the government's stability, it still is a warning sign. Benny Gantz has threatened to quit the government as well if the Haredi draft bill, which exempts ultra-Orthodox Jews from conscription, is passed. You see, pressure is mounting on Prime Minister Netanyahu from all sides. What will he do is the question. On to India now, where the poll fever is at its peak with the first phase of polling set for the 19th of April. A lot is happening by the hour. Parties announcing candidates, leaders even switching sides, parties holding huge campaign events. And amid all of this, a lot of he said, she said. Now, according to the Model Code of Conduct issued by the Election Commission of India, criticism of other political parties shall be confined to their policies and programs. Adding that criticism of all aspects of private life of the leaders or workers of other parties based on unverified allegations or distortion shall be avoided.
Please maintain decorum in campaigning and refrain from abuses and personal attacks. Please don't try to cross the red line.
But what if someone crosses the line? This brings us to the biggest war of words of the day. A national spokesperson of the Indian National Congress shared a picture of actor-turned-politician Kangana Ranaut on Instagram. The photo was posted with a denigrating, rather disparaging remark. We choose to not repeat the comments. The post was deleted minutes later, but it was already too late. The ruling BJP went ballistic against the Congress over the post. The BJP, which has fielded Kangana Ranaut as a candidate for the upcoming elections, accused the Congress leadership of insulting women. The party also demanded the Congress must sack its spokesperson. The Congress spokesperson, on her part, has distanced herself from the post. She said a lot of people have access to her social media accounts and that the post was shared by someone else without her knowledge. Kangana Ranaut reacted to the political storm earlier today. In a post on social media platform X, Ranaut said, I'm quoting, "We must refrain from using sex workers' challenging lives or circumstances as some kind of abuse or slur." She added that every woman deserves her dignity. Meanwhile, India's National Commission for Women has reacted sharply on the matter. The statutory body wrote to the Election Commission of India to take strict action against the Congress and the spokesperson. The Election Commission has already warned parties and their leaders and workers against any such indecent acts and remarks. Now, for the Election Commission, there are two issues to tackle here. Indecent and personal attacks is a clear-cut case of violation of the Model Code of Conduct. The second is regarding the spread of misinformation through social media. The Congress spokesperson claimed the post shared by her Instagram account was first shared by a parody account of her name on Twitter and claims it is from here that one of the persons with access to her Instagram account picked up the post and shared the same. Now, going by these claims, the problem of parody accounts, misinformation, and rudimentary understanding of the same, even among the party workers and leaders, seemed to be at the heart of the row. While announcing the poll schedule, the Election Commission claimed to be prepared to tackle the challenge of both the MCC violation and misinformation. The Kangana Supriya controversy involves both. The complaint has already reached the Election Commission, so the ball is already in its court. How the poll body reacts, what actions it takes, and how effective they prove to be will be watched closely. We are starting off the show tonight with some breaking developments coming in. The entire 22-member crew of the cargo ship that struck a major bridge in Baltimore today, causing it to snap and plunge into the river below, are Indians, as per the latest that has come in. The Singapore flag ship collided with one of the pillars of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, is what we know at this point. And according to the vessel information provided by the Synergy Marine Group, the crew was all Indian, 22 in total. For more on this, my colleague Susan Tehrani is with us on the broadcast to get us more inputs and details as far as the latest that's trickling in. Susan, if I can begin by asking you to tell us more about what we know so far and what the authorities are saying.
Yeah, so basically the ship lost control leaving the port, and the crew on board informed authorities that they had lost control of the ship. And then, we saw those really devastating images of ultimately the ship hitting the bridge. There was a press conference with Maryland's governor and authorities as well. Search and rescue operations continue. About 6 people are apparently still in the water that they're searching for. They couldn't exactly say how many cars might have been also underwater, but we're looking for information regarding that as well. As you mentioned, all 22 members, we are told, are Indian on that ship. And, while the immediate impact, of course, is devastation and sorrow, there's going to be long haul investigations as to how this happened. But something very important is that this bridge is going to be closed for a very long period of time. And this collapse really caused problems, and it will cause problems for the supply chain issue. It's one of the really busiest routes for coal, cargo, and cars as well, really passing, bringing it into the United States.
All right. Thanks very much for that update, Susan. Of course, we're coming back to you as and when we have further updates trickle in. Let's also get you these reactions that have come in so far.
Everyone, this is a unthinkable tragedy. We have to first and foremost pray for all of those who are impacted, those families. Pray for our first responders and thank them, all of them working together, city, state, local, to make sure that we are working through this tragedy. This is an ongoing active research that we're having right now. We're going to continue, as you heard from Chief Wallace, throughout. As long as we have to be doing that, we will do it. But we have to be thinking about the families and people impacted, folks who we have to try to find and save. This is what our focus should be on right now. We're going to continue to work in partnership with every part of government to do everything that we can to get us through the other side of this tragedy.
Entire cart, it's like about a 3-foot cart, and it's made of metal. The whole thing shook. So I thought I had hit something. I thought I hit maybe a pallet jack piece or some debris on the ground. And then I asked a few other coworkers, like, did y'all just feel that? And everybody was like, yeah, man, that was hard. That was like hard rumbling thunder. We don't know what it was. So 2 o'clock rolls around. We go out on break. Mind you, it's very dark outside, but we have a perfect view of the bridge in the videos and photos I sent you, or the video and photos I sent you. You can see, the bridge, even though it's dark out. My coworker goes, Jay, look, the bridge collapsed. And I was like, you're lying. Stop playing with me. He goes, no, go look.
So that was basically an eyewitness narrating what was seen, and also a reaction coming in from the mayor of Baltimore, as Susan was pointing out. As of now, that's the information that we have at this point. We will, of course, keep a close eye for any further details that come in.